So today I'll start with module 6. Okay. So module 6 is basically talking about SSAS cube design. So what is SSAS? SQL Server Analysis Services is a tool which is used to develop cubes. Okay. So what is a cube? Cube is a multi-structural, multi-dimensional object where you use that for different analytics in multi-dimensional way, right? So usually table is what? Table is a two-dimensional structure, but cube is a multi-dimensional structure in SSAS. Usually in the physical world, cube is a three-dimensional structure, right? But here we are talking about multi-dimensional structures, and we call it as a cube. Okay. So what is this multi-dimensional structure? Why it is called as multi-dimensional structure? What is the exact difference between a table and a cube? You will learn in this class. Okay, which is very important. Okay, so these are the list of things which we are going to cover today. Okay, so there are a lot of things here. Okay, there are a lot of things. So there is no surprise that we will be left over with a couple of topics. Okay, or 3 or 4 topics. That's okay. So we'll take up that in the next class. Okay, but in today's class, let us understand the in and out of the basics of SSAS, and at least we will make sure that you understand what is a cube and how it is deployed, how we can use the cube, and how it can be connected from a different things. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so before going jumping anything on the SSAS, I will do something. I'll tell you something on a BI semantic model. So why we are all doing all these things? Why we are developing databases, why we are doing ETL, why we are doing SSAS and RS. So what is this all used for, right? So at the end of the day, this is all used to make sure that your clients or end users have correct information on hand, which will enable them to take better decisions, right? This is what the overall agenda of this one, right? But how we can enable them to make the better decisions is using the concept of BI, right? Okay, so in the business intelligence semantic model, there are two things, right? One is a tabular solution, and the second is a multi-dimensional solution. So sometimes you will have the data in the form of a table. Example, you have a employee table, or you have some product table, anything, right? So that is in the tabular format, right? But you can use the reporting actually using the tabular models also. Example, employee table, product table, you can join them, you can create a view in them, or you can create some stored procedure or something, and you can generate a report, right? So it's very easy. But the thing, the problem if you do like that, as the size of the data set grows, it's very tough to give optimal performance. Example, if you have a product with 1 million records, and employees with 200 records, and with a sales of 20 million records. If you join this table either in Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, any database, it will stuck for some while, right? Because this is joining for too many millions of rows, and the user has to, every query user has to wait when he is doing some analysis. User has to wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you don't know. But nobody has time to wait, right? So what user wants is just browse something, okay, get out automatically. That is not possible using the tabular model. So in a multi-dimensional model, what we are going to talk using the SSAS, which is the OLAC model, those things will be very useful for the end user, and it brings the optimal performance. Okay. As I was talking about the end users who will be using this data, so if you work for some organizations like already, so you know who are the end users, right? So basically some of the end users are something like just give me a platform, I will do my analysis by myself, right? But some teams say that, okay, so we have a group of users or group of managers where they want to analyze your data, right? So just give us some solution. Okay, so if there is one person, then they may do the reporting or some analysis some in Excel. But if there are too many persons, if they want to stand on the same page, if they want to analyze the same kind of data, to make better decisions, they need a single source of truth, which is in the form of a data warehouse. So they need the data warehouse things in the form of some cube in SSIS, and they want to see how the data is coming up. So in those concepts, if the users work on different versions of truth, if they work on different versions of the data, it's very confusing them and there is a conflict, right? So if there should not be a conflict, then you should use a data warehouse or a SSIS to develop QQs to give the information correctly to the users. Yeah. Okay. So you have yesterday I was telling you about two things. Okay, very important. Let me okay. Two things. I was talking about two things, right? So what are the two things I was talking about? I was talking about dimensions, right? Some of the examples of dimensions are dim customer, dim product, dim date, dim geography, dim product category, right? These are the example of dimension tables, right? So these are some of the examples, right? So dimension tables will have surrogate keys. Okay, dimension tables will have surrogate keys. And what fact tables will have? Fact tables will have measures. So we call it as facts, right? What are the measures? Measures are something like sales amount, quantity, total extended price, right? These kind of facts are called measures. You remember this one, you will see this particular word used many times in SSIS. Okay, what are called as measures? Measures are nothing but facts or numbers. What are the examples of measures? Sales amount, order quantity, tax amount. These are the measures which are called as facts also. Dimension tables will have surrogate keys in the form of a key, which is also like a primary key, right? If you combine dimension tables, okay, if you combine dimension tables with fact tables, then you can get something as a cube. Okay, if you combine dimension table with a fact table, you get something as a cube. So how you will get that, all those things we'll see it later. Okay, so this is the concept of cubes. So yesterday I was telling you about the some of the examples of the cube, right? Some of the examples of the fact table. So if you see this, right, if you see this, what happens if you, this particular thing explains you about a customer, different customers in the different regions in different months, what are their sales amount. Okay, what are their sales amount. So the data is displayed like this in the Excel spreadsheet, but when it comes to our data warehouse, it need not be like this, right? This, all this customer ID and dim customer name will go to dim customer. Okay, this particular will go to dim customer, and this will go to dim geography, region will go to dim geography. And these are what? April, May, these are months, right? Months and years. This will go to dim date. Okay, and what? And these are the sales amount, right? This will go to a fact table, right? So this is a set of data. This set of data will be converted into different things in our data warehouse, right? So this is something which you learn in this class, right? So this is, I hope you understand how the dimension tables or fact tables are, right? Okay, so okay, we have something, right? We have something to start. So before starting anything, I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with some of the things here, right? So any questions, just put it in the chat window. If I see it as important to be answered as soon as possible, then I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'll answer a logical break, right? I'll create a project for SSIS, right? So what I have to do is I have to right click and run as administrator in my SQL Server data tools. Click yes. Yeah. So here is as the same way when we were doing for the SSIS project, we used to create a new project, right? So in the same way, we can have a project created for SSIS AS, right? So in the business intelligence, you have three sections. Previously, we used to create integration services project. Now we should create analysis services project. Okay, we should create analysis services project. So it is asking for the path, but what I want to do is I just wanted to change the path to Edurator, right? So what I'll do is like okay, I'll give the name as this one. Yeah, so it says the select folder. It says that it does not exist, right? So what I'll do is like I'll create this. Okay, I'll create this folder. Okay, so this is my path, and what I'll do is like I'll give my name as first cube. So the name of the project is the first cube, and this is my path. And what I have to do is I have to select analysis services here, and there are different sections which you need not worry at this particular time. Okay, so the most important thing is analysis services multidimensional. Okay, the most important thing here is analysis services project, right? So here you have, if I expand this, you got to make you a clear picture on this, right? So there are different things here: analysis services, multidimensional, and data mining project. Okay, and import from server. So if you want to import something from the server, analysis services tabular project. Okay, and import from Power Pivot and import from server. So these things, right? So these things are the additional functionalities available in the SSIS. Okay, these are additional things which is available in the SSIS. But the very important thing which constitutes 90% of SSIS is this portion. Something like SSIS we have. So you have to select this particular thing and click OK. Then it will create something as analysis services project. Okay. So once you create this analysis services project, this is also called as multidimensional development project. Okay. Okay, so this is called as multidimensional development project, and also you can have some development about the data mining, but very few organizations use the data mining. Okay, here we will talk about multidimensional analysis, and we'll talk about the cubes, which are the core concept of SSIS. Okay, so if you come here, like there are different sections here, so make sure you understand all these things here. Right? So there is a big section here which is related to different parts of SSIS. So in the same way you have, first of all, there is a concept called data sources. So what it talks is like, it says that what is your data source, just tell me that. So you can have some data source views. So it is something like having some views in the SQL Server or Oracle, right, on top of the base tables. And we talk about the cubes. Okay, so these are very important things. Okay, and we will talk about the dimensions also, 4 things. We'll talk about the dimensions, and in the future I'll tell you something on roles. Okay, and the remaining things is not required for this particular class, right? Because this talks about data mining and all those things, which is another topic. Okay, so we'll concentrate on data sources, data source views, and developing cubes, right? And we'll talk about the dimensions and the different things. Okay, to start with, right? What I just wanted to tell you something. So I have a database called. Okay, I have a database called SQL Server 2000. I have a server for SQL Server 2008 R2, and I have a database called AdventureWorks GWX, right? AdventureWorks GWS. So what are the tables I have in this one? I have some few tables called, which is related to the dimension table and fact table. Okay, so how you can get this is, actually there's a lot of stuff available in the Microsoft websites. You can download AdventureWorks DW 2008 R2 or AdventureWorks DW 2012, right, where you have these similar kind of tables. Okay, so the reason I have it in a different database is when I was giving the demo in one of the sessions, so I created a AdventureWorks DWX which will store my dimension tables and fact tables. Okay, so this is a database AdventureWorks DWX where I have my dimension tables and fact tables. Okay, so if someone is not clear about SQL Server, if you want to generate a ER diagram, if you want to generate a database diagram to see what is the linkage between these things, you have a section called database diagrams. Okay, if you expand this, if you already have a database diagram, it will show it up. If you don't have, it will ask whether you want to create it. Okay, just create it. So this is just to make sure to understand what is your ER diagram and or a database diagram, how the connectivity is taking place. So you can actually create it from here. Okay. Okay, or you can do it as a new database diagram. So let us wait for it to come back, right? So what you can do is this: make sure that you understand the relationship. Let's select everything. Start. Yeah. So what it will do is it will create a database diagram based on your tables, right? But what happens is, like, if you see this, so there is no linkage between the different things. Okay, there is no linkage between the different things. So now you can use this particular tool to link this up. Okay, but if you want to understand this structure clearly, so based on these keys, you can use some tools called Visio, Microsoft Visio, to develop a ER diagram for this. Okay, so this is where you can create your ER diagram and all. But the same thing I'll show you it in SQL analysis services, how the things are linked up and how the things are connected to each other. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go back. So just make sure that we'll be using this particular database, right? Where we have the dimension tables and fact tables. Okay. So I'll go back here. What I'll do is I'll create my data source. I'll create my data source. So when I create my data source, so there are some few wizards. Okay. So whatever you are seeing in the PPT, right? In the PPT you may be seeing the same steps. Okay. But the same steps we are covering it here. So what we'll do is, like, when you create a data source, it says that, okay, I'm ready to develop a cube, but tell me what are your data sources. Okay, it is saying that I'm ready to develop a cube, but tell me what are your data source. Okay, I'll tell you what is its data. So what is our data source? Our data source is 2008 server, and this is the database name, right? Okay, so what I'll do, so it is saying that already I have a connection for my 2008 server. So if you don't have a connection, click new, and you can give the server name here, right? And if you have Windows authentication, just connect with it, or then you can just select the database name and test connection succeeded, right? You can do like this. But already my database, I have a connection. If you have an existing connection, you can use this existing or create new. It is same as the SSIS. Click next. Okay. So here there is a very important section, something called as impersonation information. Okay, which is called as impersonation information. What I'll do is, initially I'll tell you what is this concept. I'll click here first of all as different one of the sections called example. I'll click this as use the service account. Okay, click next. But I'll tell you what is that, right? So what is my data source? Data source is talking about internet sales, right? Okay, sales source. Yeah. So I'll put the name as this one. Okay. Here we'll come back. As I said, I'll come back on impersonation information, right? So what I'll do is I'll double click. So what we are doing here is we are telling this is my server, this is my database name, and these are the list of tables I'm going to access in this one, right? If I double click that, again I will have the same thing here, and I have a section called impersonation information. Okay, so here what is my thing? My connection is pointing to 2008 server, but database is not selected here. Okay, so I want to select a database called AdventureWorks DWX, where my dimension tables and fact tables are stored. Okay, and I want to use the Windows authentication. Okay, I want to test the connection. Test connection succeeded. Click OK, and you are done with this. You are done with connecting to a 2008 R2 database, which is having dimension tables and fact tables. Okay, and there is one other important section and very important interview question as well. Okay, very important section, which is called as impersonation information. Okay, so what is this impersonation information? Okay, this impersonation information means you are telling SSAS engine, you are telling SSAS engine how to connect to my data source. Okay, so what is my data source? My data source is available in 2008 R2 database in the AdventureWorks DWX database. You are telling SSAS engine how to connect to your source, because this particular SSAS, the whole stuff, whatever you opened in SQL 2014 version, right? But your data source is 2008 version. You are telling SSAS how you will connect from this 2014 of SSAS engine to your source system. Your source system may be a different database also, right? So this impersonation information is talking about that. Okay, it is talking about, do you want SSAS to connect to your data source using a Windows username and password? Do you want to do this? Okay, if you want to do this, you can do this. Okay, or do you want to use a service account? It means there will be some service account, right, for every SSAS. Okay, if you go to control panel, okay, so let me remove normal mode. Okay, if you go to all programs, SQL Server 2014 configuration tools, SQL Server 2014 configuration manager. If you open this, it will open the configuration manager, which you already opened here, right? And it will have the list of things with the services which are running in the 2014. So there is a service for SQL Server Analysis Services 2014, the highlighted portion, right? So if I double click this one, okay, so this is using a service account called, NT service and some MSOLAP 2014. Okay, this is called a service account. Okay, so in the production system or development system, you have a same service account like this. So it is asking whether you want to connect using the service account. Okay, so if you select this option, it means that this service account should have a access to your source database also. You have to make sure that, yeah. Or you want to use the current credentials of the user. So person who is running this particular SSAS, do you want to use the current credentials? Okay, or do you want to inherit? What is the meaning of inherit? Do you want to inherit whatever you used in the source, whatever you used on the general tab, you give some information, right? Do you want to inherit the same kind of permissions? Okay, so this is impersonation information. The main thing, primary thing of it is to make sure how your SSAS engine will connect to your data source. So this can be any number of types, depends on project requirement and your security model. Okay, so we will see, we'll select some of the impersonation information as a start, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, here what I want to do is, I want to use the impersonation information called service account. Okay, just select OK. So we'll come back there. So we'll come back and see if there are any problems. Okay, so my data source is created. So what is my next step? Next step is to create data source views, right? So what is this data source views? You may be having several tables in your database. I have around 20 tables here, but I don't want to create a cube using all the 20 tables. I want to create a cube using only some of these tables. Okay, so that's the reason why I want to create a view which is pointing to my base tables and which I can use in the cube also. It is something like a view in SQL Server or Oracle or DB2, right? So new data source view, click next. So what is the source you want to point to create a view? Already I have a thing called this particular source, right? So the same source it is showing up here. Do you want to use the same source to create your data source, right? Yes, I want to use that, right? So I want to use the same thing. What I'll do is just select that, click next. Okay, next one is no foreign keys were found. You can create logical relationship on matching columns. Okay, so what happened is when we tried to create a database diagram here, right, it was not linking up because there was no primary key. There are primary keys, but there were no foreign keys. That's why the tables were not linked up. But what SSI is saying that I don't see any relationship between a dimension table and a fact table in your data source. Do you want to create a logical relationship within SSAS? Yes, I want it to be done. Okay, so I can create logical relationship by matching columns. What is a matching column? If there is a product key in DIM product, the same product key will be in fact internet sales, right? Using the matching columns, actually it can create the logical relationship in SSIS. Okay, so what is your criteria for foreign key matches? Same name as primary key. Okay, so it may be something like that, right? It may be names product key in DIM product and product key in fact table. Is it like that? Or same name as destination table? No, it's not like that. Destination table plus primary key. So what is your key here? So I have customer ID in orders table and customer ID in another table. So I'm going to match using the name of the column, right? I'll click next. Okay, here it is asking what are the different tables you want to use. What are the different tables you want to use for developing a cube? So you have to select some list of tables. Based on that, it will create a view. Okay, here I don't want to select everything. Okay, I want to select very few things, right? What I want to select? I want to select DIM customer. Okay, I want to select DIM geography, and I want to select DIM product category, DIM subproduct category. Okay, and I want to select a table called DIM time. Okay, which are all dimension tables, and I want to select a table called one fact table. I don't want to select all the fact tables. I want to select one fact table called fact internet sales. Okay, so these are the tables I am selecting. One is DIM customer and DIM geography. Okay, and I have a DIM product category, subproduct category, which are related to the product, and I have a time dimension, and I have fact internet sales. Okay, so what is the name of the data source view you are giving? I am giving it as data source view as sales okay, I'll give it as the name of sales tables. Okay, click finish. What happened? Because we have selected based on the primary key of the column name, please use the foreign key and create a logical relationship, right? That's what we selected in the cube, in the wizard, right? So that's why using the primary key, what it did is it has automatically linked up. It has automatically linked up using the primary key and its name, right? So if you see here, this particular product key in DIM product, this particular product key in DIM product table, and here also you have a product key. Because the names are same, it has linked up using the product key column. Okay, so again you can see that it is linked to dim customer, right? There is a customer key and you have a customer key here. So that's why it is linked up with these two things. Okay, but this fact table is not linked to any other things. What is the reason for that? Because it did not find the matching name. Okay, but the matching name it has found out in dim product table and dim subproduct category. Here you have thing called dim subcategory product, dim product subcategory key, right? And you have a product subcategory key here also. That's why these two tables are linked. And then it links to product category. You have a product category key here and you have a product category here. So that's why the linking is done based on this one. So what is happening here? In the same way, you have a geography key here and you have a geography key here. So based on the column names, actually it has designed your logical relationship. Okay. So here if you see, what kind of schema is this? What kind of schema is this? This is a snowflake schema, right? Because not all dimension tables are connected to a fact table, right? Fact table has only connected to only these two tables, right? Only these two tables, right? But these tables are normalized. Dim product table is normalized into dim subproduct category and dim product category, and dim customer is normalized into dim geography, right? So because the reason it is normalized, this is called as a snowflake schema. Okay, this is not a star schema. Okay, but you will see one particular dim time which is not at all linked to any of the tables. Why it is not linked? Okay, so if you see what is its time key, this is a time key, right? But you don't have any time, the name with the time key here. Okay, because the names are different, that's why it did not match it. Okay, but if you go to some columns called due date key or ship date key, right, or order date key, all these keys are also talking about a date, which is also a time key, which is internally mapped to this one. Because the names are different here and here, that's why it did not match. Okay, what you can do is, if there is no matching automatically using the name, there is an option in SSIS to create a new relationship. Okay, select here, right click, go to new relationship. You can always have a new relationship here. Okay, what is your source foreign key? What is your source foreign key table and destination primary key table? So what my foreign key table is fact internet sales. What is my destination table? Primary key table, right? My primary key table is dim time, right? I can select dim time. So what are your source columns which can be mapped to this one? So my source column is product key, order date key, which can be mapped to time key. Okay. Once I map it to the time key, I cannot see it again, right? Once I map it to the time key, I cannot see it again, right? So I'll put as order key. My order date key is nothing but time key. So because these two are tied together, click OK. Now there is a linking, right? Now there is a linking, correct? So time key is matched to this one. Okay. So in the fact table, if you see, fact table is a combination of all the surrogate keys: product key, order date key, customer key, which is connected to this one, and it will have another something as facts on the bottom of this particular table, right? And the dimension table will be only having the details about the dimension. Okay. Click save. What I'm doing is I'm doing Control S in my particular laptop. So what you can do is you can go to file and save, right? So now this is saved, right? Now this is saved. So what you have done here, you have done only the relationship or the linkage between the dimension tables and fact tables in the data source view, right? You have done the relationship in the data source view. Okay, so once you are done with the data source view, you can close this. Okay, you can close this and come to a section called cubes. Click new cube. Okay, click new cube. So now using the dimension tables and fact tables, we are going to design a cube. Okay, so I'll click next. Okay, here there are some few options. Okay, here there are some few options. So the few options are something like this. Do you want to use existing tables? When creating a cube, do you have already the existing tables? Usually 99% of the times you will have existing tables if you are working for a company. Unless you are an end user who want to create very dynamic things, you will have this option selected. But you 99% of the thing you will select, I have existing tables, yes, right? So it can say the generate tables in the data source. Do you want to generate the new tables in the data source? I don't want to do that, right? I will say that I already have the existing tables which are in the form of dimension tables, fact tables, which I use the ETL, SSIS ETL to load those dimension tables and fact tables, and it is located in data warehouse. I want to use that, right? So I will tell that use existing tables. Okay, now very important section. Okay, here in the cube wizard, it will ask you to select what are your measure group tables. What are your measure group tables? So what is called as a measure? Measure is nothing but a fact or number. Okay, in the database terminology, you will call it as a fact or you call it as some number. Okay, but when you come to the dimension modeling concept, in the dimension modeling concept, it is called as measures. Facts are called as measures and fact tables are called as measure groups. Okay, facts are called as measures, fact tables are called as measure groups. Okay, so it is asking you to select what are your measure groups, asking you to select what are your measure groups. Okay, so what are my measure groups here? I have only one fact table, so this is my only measure group. I don't have anything else, right? This is my only measure group. So what I should do is I should not select everything here, right? I should select only my measure group, right? What is my measure group? This is my measure group, right? So don't select everything because your measure groups are nothing but your fact tables. Click next. Okay. Once measure group or fact table is selected, it will ask you to select what are your measures. What are your measures? Measures are nothing but your facts, right? Measures are nothing but your facts. Here you have to identify what are your measures. Okay, so I'll tell you here, fact table is combination of, so fact table is connected from different dimension tables using the surrogate key, and it will have the surrogate keys from the different dimension tables, and it will also have the facts, right? So all these keys, whatever you're seeing here, all these keys, due date key, ship key, these are the referencing fields from dimension tables. See, these are not your measures, right? These are not your measures. So just don't select this. So what I'll do here, I will select only the columns which I feel it as a measure, which I feel it as a fact, right? This is my linking column. I will remove this. This is a linking column. Remove this. Remove this. Remove this. Just remove this. I don't want this dimension number. Order quantity is my measure. Yes, this is a number. Unit price is a measure. This is a measure. This is a measure. Measure. Sales on pay is my important measure. Okay. Tax amount is my measure. Freight is my measure. Okay. But there is one new column which came up here. Okay. Okay. This is a new column which I don't have in the data source, right? Which I don't have in the data source. This is automatically created by SSIS engine. Okay. Is automatically created by SSIS engine. Okay. Okay. Okay, so just select this, just remove this and just select the remaining things and click next. And what are your dimensions? My dimension tables are this one, right? So what I want to do is I want to automatically select all these dimension tables Okay, I don't, this is my fact table. Just remove this and click next, right? So what is your cube name? Say I will put the cube name as sales cube. Click finish. Now a cube is created. We will see how this cube is created. Okay. So this is the cube what we have created. Okay. So we had the data source as sales data source, and we have created some data source view, which is some combination of some dimension tables and fact tables. And then what we did is, like, we created a cube. While creating a cube, we have taken a couple of important steps. We have selected what are our dimension tables and what are our fact tables. So dimension tables are called as, we have selected as dimension attributes, and for the fact tables we have selected as measure groups. Okay. So once it is completed, so you can see the particular screen like this, right? Okay. So you can see the screen like this, which is generated by SSIS automatically. So what is happening here? So we have some few tables which are connected, right? So how these are connected? So we have a table called product, but because that is being normalized, so it is divided into 3 tables, right? And which is making into the form of Snowflake schema, right? And we have some couple of tables, dim customer and dim geography, which are linked to each other, right? And we have another table called dim time. Okay. And these 3 tables, dim time, dim customer and dim product, are having the surrogate keys which are pointing to fact internet sales. Okay. So the overall schema is called as a Snowflake schema. Okay. So here, if you observe this particular section, there are a lot of things which are new for you and you are seeing for the first time. If you are learning SSIS for the first time, right? All the things we had in SSIS are completely different than this, right? So on the left section, here you have something called as measures. Okay. So whatever the measures you have selected in the wizard, so all these measures are present here, and there is nothing present which is not selected, right? These are called measures. And in the bottom section, you have something called as dimensions. Okay, these are called as dimensions. So in the dimensions, what is happening? You have selected a dimension table called product, customer and dim time. Okay, and you have selected its surrogate keys. Based on the normalization, what it did is it has intelligently created something here. So if you observe it carefully, we have selected 3 tables, right? We have selected 3 tables called dim product, sim product category and dim subproduct category. But what it did is it created only one parent table. In the wizard we have selected 3 tables, but what it did is it has created only one dim product, but it made sure, because it is linked up each other, it made sure that it has a product category key and product subcategory key. Okay, although in the database side it is normalized into 3 different groups. Okay, although on the database side it is normalized into 3 different tables. Okay, but coming into the cube section, it has created only one table, but it made sure that the keys are intact. Okay, so this is the beauty of SSIS. So it can intelligently identify and it can group the things, right? And in the same way, although on the database side this is normalized into 2 different things, but it has created 2 different keys within the dim customer, which is a parent object, right? And we have something called as dim time, where you have time key as the surrogate key, right? So these are the dimension tables and tables which we have created, and in the SSIS you can see them as 2 important groups, right? What are those 2 important groups? One is called as dimensions and second is called as facts, which are called as measures. Okay, these 2 things will form a cube. Okay, so how it will form, what are the things about it, we'll see it, right? At the same time, when you create a cube, there are a lot of new sections here which is on the top ribbon. Okay, on the top ribbon there are a lot of new sections. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we will cover all these sections, right? We'll cover all these sections and see what are the uses of different sections. Okay, so in SSIS it has some beautiful functionalities which are not present in other OLAP tools. Okay, in terms of design or in terms of functionality. Okay, so we'll see what are those things. Yeah, so I hope you have the concept of this cube now, right? You have the concept of this cube now. So what I did is I'm trying to save this. So it is saying that the following objects will also be saved. Would you like to proceed? Yes, I want to proceed, right? So just save it. Okay, so that the whole project is saved. Okay, so what happens is, like, this is a sales cube and this is a data source and this is a data source view. Data source view, and this is the cube, right? Okay, so very important here. What we'll do is, I'll try to do some things here. What I'll try to do is, I'll try to deploy the cube. Okay, now the cube is created. Okay, cube is created, but I'll try to deploy the cube, and there is a concept of processing the cube. Okay, and we will face some issues while deploying, and I'll tell you why those issues are coming up. Okay, and we will fix the problem. Okay, right, and after that we'll have one voiceover session where you can ask the questions on voice, and we'll talk on that. Sure. And anything also pinged on the chat, I'll make sure that I'll answer that once these things are done. Okay, so this is something on the cube. So to deploy the cube, what should I do is, to deploy the cube, I should go to project level. This is my project level, my first cube, right? So go to properties. Okay, go to properties. So what you'll do is, like, deployment server edition, like it is a developer edition or enterprise edition, so it's okay. So my thing is a developer edition, so that's why I leave it as a, so based on the edition you just select your type of edition. So how you can know the type of edition you have? You can go to your SQL Server 2014 and select that version. Okay, so if you execute this, like, you'll be knowing what type of edition you'll have. So my thing is enterprise evaluation edition. Okay, so to know the version, you just come here, right? So what you can do is, like, it's okay, so I can deployment server edition, I can I just put a developer edition, we'll see what happens, right? And deployment server versions 12.0, output path being true, so remove passwords equal to I just put it as true. So let's see what other things happens, right? And just debugging, so just leave it as it is and come to the deployment section. Okay, in the deployment section, initially don't touch anything. Okay, what you do is, you specify your server name where you want to deploy. You specify your server name where you want to deploy the SSAS. Okay, so what I want to deploy this SSAS in SQL Server 2014 of analysis services. I want to deploy this in SQL Server 2014 analysis services, right? So what is my server name? My server name is this one. Okay, and how can I say it is a 2014 version? Using the instance name. Okay, and what is your database name? So here there is a concept called database, so which will be same as your project name. Okay, or you can change it. Okay, just try to keep these properties, click OK and click OK, save it. Okay, and go to build. Okay, go to build and make sure that you build the cube. Now it is saying build started and build succeeded. If you see the bottom section, right, there are no errors. Okay, so once you build the cube, there are two important topics. Okay, one is deploy and second one is process. Okay, so this cube is generated. If you want to deploy this cube, already you have set the properties, right? You have set the properties where it is to be deployed. Okay, so let us try, like, what happens if you deploy. I say deploy. Okay, we got some few errors. Okay, let us see what are those errors. If you see these errors, what it is saying is login failed for the user, NT service, MS OLAP, this one. What it is saying that hey, your login is failed and something is not working. Okay, So why this login is failed? When we have created our data source. Okay, I told you there are two important sections, right? One is general, how you want to connect to your source database using some authentication, right? So that you can develop it. Okay, but when the SSAS is running it, okay, when SSAS is running it, how you want to connect your SSAS engine to your data source? How you want SSAS to connect to your data source? Okay, so what is happening is this SSAS is running using a service account called NT Service MSOLAP SQL 2014. So where you can see the service account, you can see the service account in configuration manager. It's the same service account it is using as logon as. But this service account is not a login in 2008 server. So this is my 2008 server. This is my 2008 server. If you go here in the security tab, there are a list of sections. So I don't have MSOLAP 2014 as a login here. Okay, that's the reason why it is not able to connect. Okay, so if you have a login for the TOLAP network service here, then it will be able to connect to those. So you have to make sure that whatever the service account or whatever the property you give in the impersonation section, it should make sure that it can connect using those IDs, using those credentials to data source. So that is called as impersonation. So I use service account. It says that no, it is not available. So you can maybe I can try with using a specific Windows username and password. So what is my Windows username password? My Windows username, this one is the username and this one is the password. Okay, so this is why I have just keep with my Windows username and password, right, and just saved it. Okay, we'll try to do it again. Deploy. Okay, so what is happening? So it is trying to deploy the things. So it is trying to deploy the things, and it says that deployments are completed successfully. Now why it has completed successfully? Because in my 2008 server, which is my data source, I have my Windows user ID. I have my Windows user ID as a login. Right? I have my Windows user ID as a login. That's why the impersonation using my Windows credentials, what I've given in impersonation information, it can create a connection to my source server. That is the reason why it is able to connect and deploy the things to SQL Server 2014. Okay, there is a catch, right? Just give me a second. Okay, so I got you. I hope you got the concept, right? So it is going to source 2008 server and it is making sure that it can connect to it, but it is saying that it is deployed completed successfully. But where it has deployed this? It has deployed in a separate place, right? So that place is SQL Server 2014. So where we have given the deployment properties, it has deployed to this one, 2014 server, and it has created a database called FirstCube. In this 2014 server, let's go to the properties, and in the deployment we have given it as a deploy to 2014 server, but by source is 2008. Connect to my source using my Windows credentials, but deploy here. Okay, I hope you got the point right? So what will happen is I should go to my 2014 analysis services and see if it is deployed properly, right? So how can I go to 2014 analysis services? So what you have to do is to go to 2014 analysis services. First of all, make sure that in your configuration manager there is a section for SQL Server Analysis Services 2014. Make sure that this service is running. Okay, if this service is not running, try to start it. Okay, now currently my service is running, so it means that my analysis service is up and running, right? So what you can do is you can open this 2014 Management Studio using run as administrator or some user ID password where you have the permission, right? And this will be open, right? Once you open this, there is an option for connect, and here you have to connect to analysis services. Okay, here you have to connect to analysis services 2014 and click connect, right? So what is happening, once I click 2014 analysis services, now I have a different thing here. So the top section is for SQL Server 2014 database, right? But this is for analysis services. Okay, and in our project it is saying that it has deployed to a database called FirstCube. It means that I should have something in the database section here with some name as FirstCube. Yes, I have. So it means that it is deployed successfully, right? So just open this, go to data sources. This is our sales data source, is same as this one, and this is our data source view, same as this one, and this is our cube, which is same as this one. And in the cube we have measure groups and we have dimensions. Yep. So this is deployed successfully. Okay, it means that cube is deployed successfully. So what I'll do is I'll just close this. Okay, I'll just close this, I'll remove this. My cube is deployed successfully, but once my cube is deployed successfully, it doesn't mean that straight away I can use it. Okay, once the cube is deployed successfully, we have to make sure that that is processed. What is processed, what are the types of it, we'll see it later, but on high level I'll try to process it. What is the meaning of process? Okay, this is very important. Okay, you have different dimension tables: dim time, dim customer, dim product, and you have a fact table. What it will do is all the surrogate keys are connected to the fact table, to the centralized fact table, and it has different surrogate keys as a relationship to the dimension tables, and it has the facts in it. Now we have designed a cube in the same manner, but SSIS should internally create some aggregations. Important word. SSIS should create some aggregations so that it has all the combinations of this data. So what are these combinations? So this will store some aggregation. Example, this particular customer in this month with this product, this is the total sales amount, right? Now I'm talking about total sales amount. Sometimes I want average of sales amount. Sometimes I want the minimum of sales amount. I want maximum of sales amount, right? So my aggregation can be anything. I may require total sales amount, minimum sales amount, maximum sales amount, right? So my average sales amount, or I may sometimes you can count of number of records. This is also another type of aggregation, right? So my aggregation can be anything, right? So all these aggregations SSAS will create internally using the engine when you process the cube. Okay, you'll understand about this topic more in the future classes, right? So this is about something about the process. So for processing, what you have to do is right click, okay, go here and show process. What it is saying, the server content appears to be out of date, right? Would you like to build and deploy first project first? It is saying that it saw some few changes like after we have deployed. It is saying, okay, we want to do it again. Yes, I want to do it. Just build it, we'll succeed it, and try to deploy it, right? And now the deployment is completed, right? If you see this deployment is completed successfully, the message on the bottom section, right? And automatically I have already the thing. Even if I refresh this, right, I have a cube called my sales cube, right? So, but a new window has come up, which is a process. Okay, so there are different options for the process. So don't change anything for now. What are the processing options? I'll tell you more on that. Okay, but just expand this window so that you can see everything. And what do you want to process? When you process, it calculates all the aggregations and stores in the multi-dimensional cube. Okay. Now it says that proceeded. The trace information is located somewhere, and this is your processing information, right? Click close. Click close. It means that it has done all the aggregations and it has kept inside, right? So it is completed successfully. I'll just close this, right? Now the cube is also processed. Okay. Now if I go right, if I still refresh it, I'll still have all this available in the process status. It means my cube is ready to use now. Okay, my cube is ready to use. Okay, so what I can do here to use the cube, make sure that there is another service up and running. Also one of the important questions. Okay, go to the configuration managers. There is a SQL Server browser. Okay, there is a service called SQL Server browser. Make sure that this is up and running. If this is not up and running, so that you are not browse the cube using the SIS. Okay, so make sure this is up and running, right? So what I'll do is to browse the cube. I have a particular thing called browser. Okay, I have a called browser here. I'll go to the browser section. I'll go to a browser section. In the browser section, I can see my sales cube. Okay, I can see my sales cube, which is the name of the cube. I can see my measures, which is all my facts, right? I can see my dimension tables. I can see my dimension tables, right? And automatically I can start using the cube, right? Automatically I can start using the. So how can I use the cube? I'll show you a simple scenario. Just save it. Okay. Right. So on the top of the cube, one important section, you have one thing called dimension, hierarchy, operator, filter expression. Okay. So what type of dimension you want to select? So I have a question from my manager. Okay. So my requirement from one of my users or sales manager is, okay, for every customer, for every product in the month of some January, show me what are the total sales figures. This is the query. He asked for every customer, so I should go to the customer key, right? Okay. So what he asked is, just show me for every customer what are the different things present, right? So what I can do is I can just take the customer key and drag and drop here. It says no rows found. That's okay. And what I can do is for every product, means I can drag and drop product key. Okay. He says that I want in the month of something, right? Even I want in the month of something. But if you see, I have only the thing called key, right? I don't have anything else. So this is a bit confusing here. So I cannot know what is my month name and all those things, right? I cannot know month name and all those things. So what I'll do is like, okay, for default, to explain you, I'll just drag and drop something, right? So what I can do is I can drag and drop the time key, right? So what he wants is he wants the sales amount, right? Just go here, just go here. What is the sales amount? Now it is executing the results and it is giving the results. For this customer, for this product, for this time frame, this is the sales amount. But what are these values? These are the surrogate keys. Will the end user will understand the surrogate key? No, right? So you should say, give me the customer name, give me the product name, give me the time. Then I will make sure that I can understand this one. It is giving the results properly. And in the future, he may ask that, okay, I don't want the time frame. Just for customer and product, just give me the total sales amount. Just remove this. And it is executing. It is changing the numbers. Okay. So this is how you can deploy and process cube and use it. Okay. But one important piece of information what we are missing here is we are having the keys only keys. We don't have any attributes to it. right? We don't have any attributes to it. So that the meaning, the information, whatever you're reading here, it is not giving you the clear information, right? So that's why, so as this is the first cube, so we will stop it here and see how we can fix this problem in the while creating the next cubes, right? So this is the very high level concept of the cube, and you can, how you can use it. Example, you want to use some other concept. Okay, this is the total sales amount, right? What is the total sales amount? What are the total number of products ordered, right? This is, which is nothing but ordered quantity. This sales amount, this is ordered quantity. So you can just drag and drop whatever you want, and it will be automatically shown here. Yeah. So this is how you can link up. But the thing is that you're not getting the correct information from the dimension, because we have not done some of the things which we will do in the later parts of the cube. Okay. So this is something about the overall thing about the cube, and we will see more things about the cube in the next few minutes or in the next class also. So this is something, right? So what we can do is, like, we did not we can make some modifications to this particular thing and make sure that we have the new things coming up, right? So I'll go back to the slides. Okay, I'll go back to the slides and see what we can go forward from that, right? So what we did is, we did a cube called one of the cube development, and what we did is, like, we have selected one of the data source when we have selected the impersonation information, and we have used a view wizard to get the view, and we have something ready. So this is maybe a bigger picture, right? But what we had is, like, we have something ready, and we have, what we did is, like, we did a cube, right? And what we did is, like, we made sure that we have all the measure groups selected, and we click next, and we made sure that we all the dimensions ready, right? And this is something it looked like, right? Okay. Okay, so one important thing what we missed out here is we saw only the keys available on the browser, right? So but actually we can have some of the information present in that. Okay, so when I saw the browser, actually I had only the keys, right? But I want to make sure that I have some values here. Okay, what I can do is, I can go here, dim product, I can edit dim product. Okay, so in the dim product, actually I have only 3 keys selected. Okay, but I don't have anything. But I want some other things also to be done, right? In this particular section, what we'll do is, we'll have some of the values from the name. So what I'll take is, I'll take the English product name. What I have to do is, I'll have to go here and drag and drop. Okay, I want English sub-product category name, drag and drop. I want English product category name, drag and drop, right? This is product category, and this is product subcategory, and this is product name, right? So I'll save this, right? Would you like to proceed? Yes, I want to save this. Click OK. And what I'll do is, I'll do the same thing for dim customer. Go here. I have only 2 keys here. What I'll do is, I want English country region name, right? And I want so do you have any other things here? No, right? And what I want is, I want the customer first name plus last name, all those things, right? So what I want is, like, I just want the customer first name, customer last name. Okay, I don't want anything else in this dim customers. Click OK, save, go here and go to the dim date, edit the dimensions. I have a time key, right? But what I want is, I want year and month. Okay, so where can I see year and month? I have the calendar here, right? I have the calendar here. Just drag and drop. I want the calendar quarter, and I want the calendar month. So where is my calendar month? English month name. Or I'll select the week also. I have something called as week. Week, English month name. So do we have something as week here? Okay, So I'll select English, day name of the week. Okay, so these are my things available in the time dimension. So I modified the time dimension, right? So in the facts already I have whatever I required. I have the different measure groups here, right? Now the things are saved. So the problem we faced earlier is we had only the keys here. This customer key, this is a sales amount. As an end user, right, you will not understand what is the meaning of this key. I am not at all worried about this key. Why you are showing me this key? Don't show me, I don't want, right? I want give me the meaningful information, right? So for that, what we did is we edited the dimension, made sure that the user information is present here, right? So we made sure that all the things we dragged and dropped, right? Click OK. Once you are done with this, what you have to do is you have to deploy and process it again, right? You have to deploy the cube first so that it is deploying in the same thing. Now it is deploying all the changes. It is deploying all the different dimensions, right? Yeah, now it is deployed. So if I go back to my SQL Server 2014, right? So I have a thing called cube, right? If I open this, I have a thing called dimensions, right? If I open this dimension, I have customer dimension, product, this one, right? Sorry. Okay. So if I refresh this one, if I refresh this one, did I add any new dimensions here? I did not, right? So it is just showing the new same tables, but I have new attributes of the dimensions which are here. So now the cube is deployed. So how can I see the new attributes? I have to process it first, right? So what I should do is right click and process. So just expand this, click run. Yeah, so now it is processed successfully. Now it has all the aggregations of different measure groups for this combination of dimension products. For all these combinations, it has the aggregations, min, max, sum, average, count. These are called as aggregations, right? All these are present in the SSIS engine, and it is stored everything in the cube, and it has deployed and it has processed. Okay, now we'll go back to the browser section, right? See, the browser section, what I want is like, if you see here, it is saying that the cube has been processed on the server, right? The cube has been, this is very important, the cube has been processed in the reprocessed on the server. To prevent possible browsing errors, click reconnect. To hide these spaces, click here. So when you have done the last time, right, like you have done something and you have deployed the cube. Now again they made some changes and you deployed the things again to the server. So it is saying that it is showing the wrong last screen. Please reconnect. So I have to click reconnect here. Right? Now when I click reconnect, I got a fresh screen. Okay. Now you'll see the difference of the things what we have done in the last time and now. Right? So for this customer, I told you, right? For this customer, for this product, in the month of something, just give me a sales example. So what I'll do is, for this country, okay, for this country, for this customer, I'll give the first name last. For this country, for this customer, for this product category, for this product subcategory, for this product, okay, for this product, for this year. Okay, so to give you a clarity, so what I'll do is, I'll give you very high level first. Let me remove everything. So just to make sure that you understand. So what I'll do is, first of all, I'll take only the country. Okay, from dim customer, I'll take only the country. Okay, and dim product, I will take only the product category. Okay, here I will take only the year, calendar year. Okay, these are my dimensions. The way I see the data are called my dimensions, right? These are my dimensions. Okay, for this country, for this product category for this year, what are my sales amount? Sales amount I can get it from measures, right? This is the sales amount. Yahoo. Yeah. Now you got it, right? So for this country, for this product category, for this calendar year, this is my sales amount. Superb, right? Now to get this information in SQL Server table using some queries, now you have to write a query, right? What if you have to do the same thing in SQL Server or Oracle or DB2, any database? If someone asks that for all the countries, for all the product categories, for all the years, give me the sales amount. So what you have to do, you have to join the tables, you have to get a query out of it. But SSIS is doing by default using its engine. So you have done so much of hard work writing that query after someone asks you. But he will say that, okay, now you have given the country wise, right? And you have given the product category wise, right? Just please give it on this product subcategory wise also. So just add and add here, that's it. If I remove this for accessories in 2003, this is the amount, right? So what you can do is, like, if you want to select only for some particular year, right? So you can have some filters here, right? So dim time, you don't have any hierarchy, right? Dim time. What is the year you want? I want the calendar year is equal to, I want only the sales from 2004. It will make sure that it will display only the 2004. This is kind of a where condition in SQL. Okay. But in SSIS, this is not called as where condition. This is called as slicing. Okay. This is called slicing of the information. Okay. In SQL it is called as where, but in SSIS dimensional model concept, this is called as slicing. Okay. So this is there for 2004 data, this is the sales amount. And someone says that, okay, this is 2004 data, right? Can you give it by every quarter? This is the query. If you have to write that in SQL, it's again you have to modify the query and do it, right? But in SSIS, it's very easy. Okay, I can give it every quarter, just drag and drop like this. Same sales amount divided into first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. I'll show you something. So this is the final thing, right? So the total sales amount will not vary. This is the high level sales amount. If you split up for the same accessories for the same year for the quarter, it will actually split the sales amount intelligently, right? So it will split the sales amount intelligently, right? If you see this calendar quarter, automatically the sales amount will be splitted into the different quarters based on the data. Same Australia, same accessories, same year, 1, 2, 3, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. It has split the amount into 3 different parts, right? Earlier the amount was the cost sum of all these things, right? Earlier the amount was all sum of all these things. Now it has split the things. If you remove the things, right, again for 2004 it will do a combination 81,309. But if I put it 81,309 is split up here because this is 40,000, 35,000, 75,000 plus 5,000 plus, so it will become 81,000, right? This is the beauty of SSIS, which you cannot do very easily in SQL Server. If you have to do it in SQL Server or Oracle or DB2, you have to write lot of queries, right? But as a OLAP tool, to give the end user a meaningful information to make better decisions, to enable a better platform for the business, we will deliver a concept called business intelligence, right? This is the beauty of business intelligence. You have done so much of hard work building the databases, you have done so much of hard work building the ETL process, but this particular type of things will give more and more and more input to the end user, right? So if you suppose if you are a sales manager, right, you are a sales manager of Australia, you are interested only in the sales of Australia, right? You are not interested in anyone. What you will do is you will select the dim customer and you will select English country region name equals to, and you will select only, I want the sales of Australia only, just select. I don't want anything else, right? It will use only the Australia. Now I want to drill down more analysis, right? I want to do it. Okay, this is for accessories. This is the total sales, right? For this bikes total sale. Okay, for what is the subcategory of it? Can you split that? This is a question, right? I can just drag and drop. In the accessories, in the bike racks, this year, this quarter, this is the sale, right? He says that, okay, just can you give me the product name? This is the product category, this is the subcategory, right? Just give me the product names. These are the product names. And the sales amount is still there. And sometimes like he will go here and he'll say, okay, this particular here it is selling a lot, right? So okay, so let us go to the customer. Which customer has sold this, right? Which customer has sold this? So he will go to the dim customer and he can, okay, this is the customer, right? What is his name? Where is that first name? Right, I think this is the last. Okay, so this is the name of the customer. So what I can do is I can just put down here, right? English. This is the name of the customer. This is the first name, and this is the last name of the customer. Yep. This is the first name and last name of the customer. This country, this customer in this product category with this product name in the year 2004 in calendar year 2, this is the sales amount. Super bright. This is called as multi-dimensional analysis. You are seeing the data in multi-dimensional way. This is one dimension. Name is another dimension. Product category is another dimension. Subcategory is another dimension. Name is another dimension. In product name, right? Calendar here is another dimension, and calendar quarter is another dimension. And sales amount is your fact. Just imagine that if someone is asking you to write a query in SQL Server and give the result to me in 5 minutes. Can you do that? You have to join so many tables. Make sure that your query is correct. So to develop this particular query, a developer will take maybe 1 day or 2 days. He will say, okay, after 1 day we'll give it. But after 1 day, the question changes from the manager. He says that, okay, you have given the things by calendar quarter, right? Actually, can you split it by week? I want weekly analysis. Again, you have to modify the query, you have to push it to the QA, you have to push it to the production, so many things, right? So, but here what you will do, okay, you want it by week, right? So what you do is, like, just go here. If you want by month, example, just go here, select month, just drag and drop, that's it. In the calendar quarter second, in the June month, in the first, this is the March month, right? And sometimes what every day, okay, I want to generate a report by every day. Can you give the day, in which day, what is the sale happening? Okay, just drag and drop this, no problem. In June, on Tuesday, there is $34.99, and again on June on Tuesday there is $1,700 for a different product. So this is a superb report he can generate, right? To generate this kind of report in SQL Server, it takes days, right? So this is the beauty of OLAP tools. And at the same time, you are talking only about the sales amount, right? And in the future, he will have it. Okay, actually, my sales amount is coming up, okay, but I just want to say how many order quantity we are selling. Just drag and drop order quantity. And this is the order quantity, right? And what is our unit price for that? You want to calculate, right? So this is the unit price, right? So you want to select what is the standard cost. He says, okay, so this is important, right? How we can do the analysis? He will do the analysis in this way. Okay, this particular product in this month, I have sold this product at $34, $34.99, but my standard cost is only 13.08. It means there is a lot of margin for me. The product which I got it at $13, I sold it at 34.99. The product which I got at 1082, I sold it at 1,700, right? The product which I got at $6.9, I sold it at 8.9. So it means that there is no loss for me. So you will check all the product which I got at $713, I sold it for 1120. So this is the product. So you can do this kind of analysis, and if you work in a BI project, there is no end for the questions from the users. Users will have so many questions. Okay, do this, do this, do this. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? Especially, I'm working in a sales-related company, so they have lot of questions every time. So what we make sure is we make sure that all their questions are answered in the form of dimension tables and fact tables, and we make sure that it is available in the cube. Anything if they want Redis, okay, just go here, go to the cube, just select this one, you will automatically get. So there is no development effort. Just you can take some decision, or you want to host a meeting using this data, so that's okay, you can do that, right? Information is already there. So this is the beauty of OLAP tools, where other reporting tools or ETL tools or database cannot do it. The same concept you can develop using SQL Server queries or Oracle queries, but just imagine how much of pain it is and how much of time it will take to execute. And different user has different requirement. You cannot give just one query and use for everyone. If there are 100 users, each user will have different requirement. It's very tough to write those many queries, and those queries will be stuck using joins if they have more number of records at the source. Right? To overcome all those problems, we have beautiful tools called OLAP tools, this is the importance of OLAP. Yeah. I hope you got the point here. So I wanted to make sure that you understand this concept first. And we have so many options, right? If you look at our module 6, we have so many topics. That's okay. So let us understand. My aim is to make you understand the overall concept of this, and it's very easy to understand the different concepts later. But if you don't understand the concept as a startup, right, then there's no use of teaching all these things. Yeah. So make sure that if you have missed something, just see the recording again and just make sure that you're intact, right?